Hey everybody, welcome back to Prescription Bourbon. I'm DMC from Louisville, Kentucky. Today I'm going to be doing a head-to-head matchup of two apple brandy finished bourbons. One that's Nulu from Prohibition Craft Spirits, the other that's Huber's Bourbon from Starlight Distillery. So both of these bourbons are fairly local here in Louisville. Starlight Distillery is across the river in Indiana. It's actually listed as being in Starlight, Indiana. It's about 20 minutes from downtown Louisville on I-64, off I-64 West. Now, the Hubers have had a orchard and winery farm there in Starlight, Indiana for generations. They've been producing wine for years and years. In the early 2000s, they started producing brandy again. They had evidently produced it before Prohibition and then had ceased doing that. So they started producing brandy again in the early 2000s. And then they actually opened up a full distillery producing bourbons, whiskeys, ryes, other spirits in, I believe, 2013, 2014 timeframe. So this is their bourbon. It's a single barrel coming in at 112.2 proof, aged 5 years, and it is a pick from Entry Proof Podcast. So this is bourbon whiskey finished in apple brandy barrels. So the Hubers make their own brandy. They're on site, so they're basically taking some used apple brandy barrels and using those to finish some of their bourbon. They get their barrels from like 3 different cooperages, so I can't really tell you where their barrels are from, although I did read that some of their apple brandy, actual apple brandy, is finished in some smaller French oak stave barrels, so I'm not sure if that's what this bourbon was finished in or not. Could have been full-size barrels, I'm not 100% sure. Now, this Nulu, on the other hand, this comes out of Prohibition Craft Spirits here in Louisville. This is actually MGP distillate from Lawrenceburg, Indiana. They are distilling some of their own spirits now, but it's aging. Some of their ones that don't require much aging, they're already released, like their gins and vodkas, but none of their own whiskeys out yet or bourbons out yet. This is listed as an experimental finish series. Proof on this is 119 proof. It was finished for 10 months. And the barrels that they're finishing this in are from Copper and Kings here in Louisville. So Copper and Kings is a distillery here in Louisville that distills brandies and such. And they age their stuff in Kelvin cooperage barrels. So basically Nulu, or Prohibition Craft, is taking their MGP bourbon and they are finishing it in some used Copper and Kings apple brandy barrels. Those barrels are from Kelvin Cooperage here in Louisville. So yeah, so we have a pretty good head-to-head matchup here. Both of these are bourbons aged 4 to 5 years, and both of these are finished in used apple brandy barrels. So let's see how they compare. I've got them both poured already. I've already mixed these up. Don't know which one's which, but obviously have a 50-50 shot of having them lined up with the bottle there. But I'll take this one on your left, give it a nose. Yeah, so it's a little different than a standard bourbon nose. I mean, I can smell some ethanol on there. Definitely smell some fruit, some dark fruits. Got a little bit of oak on the nose. But yeah, the good aroma. Class B. So this one's lighter on the nose. Not picking up the ethanol now. Probably unfair to call it that one is ethanol since that was the first glass I picked up. But I'm getting some oak on this one also. I'm getting some caramel and vanillas on that too. So that one has slightly more of a bourbon nose than this one does. So we'll go ahead and give it a taste. Class A. Cheers. All right, that's definitely hot, spicy on the tongue. It spice is all on the top of the tongue. You can tell it was hot going down though too. So yeah, it has a little bit of a slight bitter taste to it, but there is some dark fruit taste there. But not standing out as what that might be. But definitely hot and spicy. So it'd be a quick taste. Cheers. Yeah, that's hot and spicy also. So the spice was more on the back of the tongue and going down the throat. It was hot. Initially, it tasted sweeter, but then that spice hit real fast. Not picking up any fruit on that so much on the taste. More oak. Kind of drying even. So, back on the aroma on these. Gave the aroma to glass A. I'm not getting that ethanol anymore. Now that I've smelled both of them, tasted both of them, it's this one definitely has darker fruit on the aroma, and just a hint of oak in the back. And this one, one's more oak forward and not so much fruit on it. So, one more quick taste. Yeah, very, very spicy. Spice continues to stay on the top of the tongue. Very warming going down. It does have that dark fruit taste. It does have some oak. Nothing crazy overpowering. I think I might have got a hint of fruit on that one as it was going down, just as I swallowed. This one does not seem as hot now. Still has a spice on the tongue. Still very drying on the tongue though. Also, that oakiness, those tannins are really drying. So I'm gonna have to call this very, very even, but I will give a nudge to glass A as better on both the nose and the finish. Taste wise, very similar, but the finish on B is very drying. Finish on A is more pleasant, and A. He has more fruit on the aroma, and just threw out on that finish. So there you go. Let's see what we have. Glass A is the Nulu, and glass B is the Starlight Distillery, the Ubers. Both very good pickups. Like I say, these are both pretty much local here in Louisville. Price wise, I've got to think they're both in the $60 range. I picked this up. This is actually a Total Wine single barrel select. This one I actually bought online. I forget what online service, but it was, like I say, it was the Entry Proof podcast that was they picked that, and it had been made available online. So probably this one's probably not available anymore. This one, I believe Total Wine may still have some in the stores for a short while. This is right now is very early 2022, so those probably are still available. But they've got a lot of Nulu picks at Total Wine here local. They've got a lot of ryes and bourbons. They've got both toasted ryes and bourbons. They've got some different finishes. They all have different colored wax on the top. So, but yeah, as far as apple brandy finish goes, it stands out as definitely being distinct and different from just a straight bourbon. Definitely warm you up. It's a hot one. So probably should have tried adding a little bit of water to these to see what it did, but it's something I'll probably do going forward. But for now, I'm going to give the Nulu a slight edge over the Starlight. Hopefully maybe you can try these or try something similar. Let me know in the comments what you think of this. Hit that like button if you liked what you saw. Hit subscribe if you're new to the channel or haven't subscribed yet. Really appreciate that. Thanks for watching, and hope you had some fun. Cheers, everybody. Remember, all bourbon is whiskey, but all whiskey is not bourbon, and the best bourbon comes from Kentucky. Cheers.
Turkey.